I'm curious if your evolving relationship with your phone has impacted how you view others and their usage. I find myself resenting friends or family, or sometimes even strangers when they use their phones when they're with or around me. I think things like live in the moment or damn they've got it wrong, which is 100% my ego. It's something I've been struggling with for a while. I'm going to address that. There's more to the comment, but I'm going to address this. Anyways, I think the broader implication of this question, what I find really interesting about it is we're on our journeys and we're starting to see these things. We want to share the love and be present and dance and communicate freely and be free. We want to be free. And what do we do about all these people around us who are stuck, who are pulling out their phones constantly for whatever reason? Maybe they don't understand the importance of the present moment. Maybe they're anxious. We don't really know what that reason might be. But when I read this question, I just thought about like all the people in my entire energy sphere, you know, in New York City and Brooklyn, who are not thinking about spirituality at all, who are playing ego games, who are trying to compete with other people, who are trying to step on other people, who are desperate to accomplish more and more and more, trying to feed their ego, who believe full-heartedly that everyone needs to get a corporate job. Everyone needs to work 9 to 5. Everyone needs to have a certain way of life. I mean, you could take it all the way to there are people who want to enforce rigid models of society onto everybody. They're offended, triggered when people around them want to be free. How do you deal with these people? So it's like the question really to me is, what do you do about the people around you who are not interested in spirituality, who are not interested in love, who are not interested in freedom? And this is something that I have been struggling with myself. I've had the same response of like, oh, these people don't get it. Like, how don't they see it? What are they doing? They're wasting their time. Why are they judging me? Like all of these things. And okay, here's what I think. And this is maybe kind of harsh, but I think it's true. I think if you're paying mind to people, to these kinds of people, I think you could only possibly be expressing some doubt in yourself. I think if you're getting frustrated at people who are on their phones, there's some part of you that's not fully accepting where you are at. There's some fear, there's some self-consciousness, there's something. Because if you're really, really confident about where you are on your path, it doesn't really matter what anyone around you is doing. And I think what slowly happens, and I think what I'm noticing in my own life, is that you'll just start gravitating towards people who do get it. It's a natural process. There's a shift that happens where you stop trying to change the people around you. Instead of trying to change the people around you, you just let them. You just let them be where they are on your journey. I mean, you think about all the complex things that had to fall into place for you to be where you're at on your journey. Thinking about myself, I had to go through all this shit. I had to think I was this important skateboarder. I had to go through all this stuff where I thought I needed to be good at skateboarding in order to prove myself, in order to be a worthy person. I thought I had to become famous on YouTube. I thought I had to sustain that fame. I thought I had to do all these things for my ego. And I was at parties on my phone because I was anxious as fuck, and I didn't understand that we're all connected, and I didn't understand that it's okay to let go. And all these complex things had to fall into place. And there's still more to go. There's still unhealthy patterns. There's still things I'm unconscious of that I do in my behavior. I'm sure that I'm still burning off this karma. And everyone's in such an individual place. And it's very, and I've done this, so I'm not throwing any shade. It's very presumptuous to assume that any given person should have the awareness that you have. You're actually lucky as fuck. You're lucky as fuck because you see it, and they don't see it. And that is where they're at. And we need to move from trying to change them, no matter who it is, family, friends, lover. When we see what we see, we cannot force anyone around us to change. They need to be ready to change themselves. And when somebody in my life is ready to change and they come to me with this excitement and they start asking me questions about spirituality, then it's beautiful. And if I have that close kind of relationship and then we're sharing a moment and they're on their phone, then maybe I'll call them out, see if we could get into a discussion about it. But for most people, don't push. Just let them be. Live in your freedom and your truth right in front of their face. That's the best thing you can do. Set an example. Live freely. Be yourself right in front of their face. Don't try to change them. Show them how fucking joyous and peaceful and free you are. That's going to inspire change more than you trying to force them or being angry at them. And when you're not self-conscious, when you really believe that you are where you're meant to be, there's no reason to try to change people because you're confident. You don't need the people around you to change so that you can affirm where you're at. I think I went through this with skateboarding. When I wanted so badly to get everybody to wear a helmet because I saw this thing. I realized, whoa, there's a huge stigma on helmets. People are judging people, bullying people essentially for wearing helmets. You guys all got to see this. Look at this. This bad thing is this judgmental thing. This negative energy is happening. Let's wear helmets and fix it. Like, please, like I was trying to shake people. Like, do you guys see how toxic this is? Like people are deciding not to wear helmets out of fear of being judged. Like, do you see how toxic this is? And I tried to change basically the whole skate culture around me. When really the best thing I could have done is just confidently been myself and not said anything to anyone who didn't care to listen. I should have just been myself relentlessly in their face without trying to prove anything. That's true confidence. And when you live that way, when you live your spiritual truths that way and you're not trying to convince anybody, and it's actually happening to me here. It's happening to me here by moving to the Patreon. Because I think when I was more insecure in my budding spiritual views, I felt this need to prove myself to the people around me, to prove why this was the right way. I needed all this external validation. I needed to change people. I was looking for these things that my ego could grasp onto to show myself that I am right, that I am on the right path. But when that inner confidence really, really grows, you just know. You just know. And people around you can be wherever they're at. They can be making themselves miserable. They can be creating hell on earth for yourself. Unfortunately, it's not your job to change them. And you can't change anybody who's not ready. And yes, I've applied this to everyone in my life. I've applied this to friends, family. You can't change them. You can't change them. Lovers, you can't change them. Now, when you're really, really involved with somebody and there becomes a misalignment like this, like literally if it's a matter of you're awakening and they want to stay stuck, that's when you need to set boundaries, because you need to set boundaries. Like I was talking about this loss of faith. I need to set boundaries with people who are not interested in love and truth. I need to set boundaries with them because if I exchange too much energy with them, I'm going to start to lose my faith. I'm going to start to doubt myself. I'm going to start to move backwards. So I need to energetically set up boundaries and physical space boundaries with people who are not vibrationally aligned with me, because I want to be around the people who want to go straight to the light, who want to live that loving life of truth and human joy, and people who want to spread the love and create a peaceful, loving planet and all these things. And I don't want to exchange too much energy with pessimists and people who think the world is falling apart, and people who are going to judge other people who are playing ego games, people who are competitive. These are things that I'm no longer trying to convince them to see it the way I see it, but I do set up boundaries. And those boundaries affirm to yourself that you believe in what you believe in. And when you do that, you're initiating a manifestation process, and you're going to start to actually attract people who understand. You're going to start to find your community. And you set those boundaries. That's the perfect balance. But if you overextend and you try to change them, then you're trying to control someone else, and that's not good. That's not our business. We need to be where we are, and we need to find the people who are where we are. One more thing is, like, still be patient with people. Like, allow people the space to be where they are. Don't try to change them. Show your example right in their face. And if they ever start gravitating, being curious about your way, that's when you can try to help them. But don't try to help people prematurely. And I think a lot of us are guilty of this, especially in loving relationships and friendships. When we begin to raise our consciousness, we try to pull people up with us, but some people are not ready. And yeah, I'm just thinking of that. Like, trying to pull people up with you, it indicates some unwillingness to go alone, to go confidently on your path without looking back. It's a wavering of your own faith, and developing that true belief, that true confidence, it will set you relentlessly free. You're going to move forward. It's not going to matter who comes with you, because you're going to know that you're going to find your people. That was crazy. Was that coherent?